Peace, 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 peace. OCO, OCO. That's a actually a Cherokee greeting. Mean hello. So peace to everybody, OCO. Peace. OCO, OCO. Let me turn that off. All right, okay. Peace to everybody in the chat room. Um, Once again, this is the Autochthonous one. This is going to be probably a couple of parts of the series because I got a lot of literature to read, and this is going to be called "The Truth About Colonization." All right. So, my disclaimer is that this is for historical and educational purposes. Once again, I am not Dr. Seuss. I am not. Um, I am not. You know what I'm saying? Gary Gnu or none of these other people who read. I will be making mistakes as usual. You already know, but I've been compelled by the ancestors to get this information out. So with that being said, let me just start. Just press one. Let me know if y'all can hear me, man. Peace to everybody in the chat room. All right, bet. All right. Good looking, Aboriginal Copper Empress. Give me 1 second, y'all. All right, okay, all right, I'm back. Yeah, I was a friend of mine. He wanted to actually me send him a link. All right, so as you see, you already see the title, so we're gonna go in on this, and I'm also gonna be touching on. Oh my God! Shit. All right, okay, all right, we back. All right, I'm also gonna be touching on Hawaii as well, so I got some literature to read from that. All right, so colonization of the Americas, right? So it's saying, all right, this article on the first colonization of America provides facts and information about the early exploration of America and the first explorers, colonization of America, etc. All right, so it say the history and famous explorers and colonization says begin with the exploration of the early European explorers. It says this map shows known land colored in orange. It say the correct areas of the Americas shown in light blue. The first explorer did not know that the continent of America existed. Now look, we just put y'all on something, right? You do know when I do read from some of these PDFs and everything is not right and exact, but we just trying to just get a brief understanding. Most of us already got a complete understanding, but I wanted to format this all in one individual video. So Just if it's some things that you might not agree with, no problem. But we just the main thing is colonization, and we just want to try to get an understanding of what took place and why it took place. All right, most of us already know. Shout out to my brother, nonetheless. We already know it's a crime scene, my brother. All right. So all right, so boom. So it says the early explorers were looking for a different route to China. That's what they say. They say it is remarkable that in just 133 years from the date of this map, 1474 to 1607, it says the first colony in Jamestown, Virginia, was established. The brave, the brave and early European explorers took a perilous route across the Atlantic Ocean were men who started the colonization of Americas. All right, now you're giving them big ups. These people criminals. If you had to ask me. All right. So colonization of America, the famous Europeans came to England, Spain, Italy, Portugal, and France, referred to the French in the Americas and the Spanish in the Americas. The voyage of the first explorers and the countries of Europe was motivated by various reasons. The foremost being to build great empires. All right. So as you know, they didn't come here. They came here to fucking steal. So basically telling you. All right. So let me know. Hold on. Let me go back. Make sure y'all can hear me. All right. Press one. Press one again if y'all can hear me, because I just had a problem with my computer. I just want to make sure everything is on the up and up, so I got to restart it. So just one person, press one. Just let me know if y'all can still hear me clear. All right, okay, all right. Yeah, we know invaders. This for the invaders. Send home the invaders. All right, so let's go back. So it say the voyage of the first American and the countries of Europe was motivated by various reasons. The foremost being to build great empires, which led to the colonization of America. The other reasons were as follow: increased power in Europe. Okay, now I tell people this all the time. Okay, white supremacy started with the colonization of the Americas. Okay, now they would sit here and tell you that Africa is the reason why all the resources came from the America, because they was in the Americas for the last 500 years. They barely penetrated Africa. Okay, so it's saying increased power of Europe, prestige, wealth, gold, silver, spices, and raw material of land. It's a opportunities for trade. It's a spreading Christian religion, referred to religion in the colony. All right. So colonization of America, the charts of the early explorers. The colonization of America was made possible by the voyage and discoveries of the early explorers who came from the great seafaring nations of Europe. It's a during the 17th century, 1500s, the works of colonization of the Americas was left almost entirely to Spain. The following chart of the early explorers provide a list of famous men who made the colonization of America possible. Now, if you read right from anybody from from European standpoint, they big up colonization, right? But when you read, they will tell you, as you see, I'm gonna go through these different articles. All right, this is just some articles right here that's big enough. But the other articles are gonna tell you the real truth about what really happened. Okay, so colonization of America. So we got Christopher Columbus. Go to date. We got F. Erickson. Now this is actually before Columbus. All right, so I don't know why they got this. All right, this is before. So we got Ferdinand Magellan. All right, so that's 1480. Amerigo Vespucci, which is Alberico Vespucci. He stole the prefix Amera from the Ameriquay region of Nicaragua, aka the Guyana regions, as well as there was other tribes that was called the Ameriquay. And it was also tribes in Louisiana. They was already calling us the Ameriquay. They already knew who we was. Because the French was calling the tribes in Louisiana the Ameriquay. Okay, how did they know? The French and the what's the name did not get along. All right, so look, so we got Balboa, we got Juan Prince de Leon, Sir John Hawkins. All right, this is a very person of interest right here, Sir John Hawkins. Okay, Francis Vasquez, Herman DeSantos, Herman Coates, Giovanni Verrazano. Another Verrazano is another person of interest because if you read his notes, he will tell you what the people looked like that was here. He said the people here looked it like nothing different than Saracens. He said they are of a color of rustic. Okay, what do they call the people of America? What is the 1828 definition of America? What do it say the people in Americas look like? Originally applied to the Aborigines or copper color races. Rustic is a copper color. Okay, so we got John Conbolt, Jacques Cartier, Juan Rodriguez, Gene Rob, whatever the fuck, Henry Hudson, Samuel D. Champlain, Sir Francis Drake. Now remember, Sir Francis Drake is another person of interest. Him and Sir Walter Raleigh. Okay, if you do not know who Sir Walter Raleigh is, do your research. Okay, all right. So colonization of America in the 1500s. Now understand this, right? They will make you think that all of these people was in cahoots with each other, right? But they was not. Okay. The British or the Anglo tribes did not get along with the Spanish, Portuguese, and the French. So when they make it seem like, oh, they sent all, no, they did not send the Christian nations sent the France, Portugal, and Spain over here. And them would be the ones that was under the doctrine of discovery. The Europeans was not, I mean, the Anglo-Europeans was not exactly under the doctrine of discovery. But it was all because of the expelling of the original inhabitants of Europe at that time. And we also understand, we know that even in up to the 1800s, you still have black kings and black queens in Europe. Okay. So, all right. So it's a colonization of America. During the 1500s, the colonization of America was left almost entirely to Spain. The program of colonization concentrated on South America, but Spanish also explored the regions of New Mexico, Texas. It's saying it's established the Spanish colony of St. August. It's in Florida. The colonization of South America also had a significant presence from the Portuguese. North America and the Gulf of Mexico to the Arctic Ocean. The Arctic Ocean, they say, had not been explored, and the land were inhabitants, they say, by the Native American tribes, all right, which is us, the Aborigines. Okay, colonization in America, Roanoke Island, here we go. The exploration of Sir Walter Raleigh initiated the European colonization of America. Remember, the English did not get here until 1584. The English colonization of America started in 1584 when Sir Walter Raleigh fleet of 7 ships and 108 men under the command of Richard Granville and Ralph Lane reached Roanoke Island. So on June 4th, 1584, the Virginia colony of Roanoke Island was founded by Sir Walter Raleigh, who made the governor of the new territory, naming the land Virginia, Virginia, in honor of Queen Elizabeth, which was the Virgin Queen. The colonization of America moved into 1587 when John White established the English Roanoke colony on August 18th, 1587. Virginia dared to be born in Roanoke colony, making her the first English child born during the English colonization of America. Colonization in the 1600s. The 1600s saw the first era of colonization of America, which was mainly undertaken by English and the French, and to the minor extent by the Netherlands and Sweden. It say the first 13 colonies was established consisting of Delaware, Pennsylvania, Massachusetts Bay Colony. It's in New Jersey, Georgia, Connecticut, Maryland, South Carolina, New Hampshire, Virginia, New York, North Carolina, Rhode Island, Providence Plantation. The story of colonization of America starts and ends at this point in time. Now, our beings, though that we from North America, right? These are the people of interest that we need to seek out. Okay. Now, we know that some of the Spanish came here, but they ain't the people who you under colonization now to. The people you under colonization now to is mainly from the British, basically. The British, England, all that shit is the same. All right. They try to sit up here and make it say, oh, well, we got our independence. We ain't never get no fucking independence because it was two European nations that came here to try to colonize it. So when you hear these stupid black people, stupid Negroes talking about, oh, we gained our independence. You ain't never gained your independence, motherfucker. Because you still colonized today. So we gained our independence from the English. That's where Homie the Clown need to come out on the bike and just clunk a motherfucker upside his head. You ain't never gained your independence because you still under colonization. Oh, but if you don't know that, you will say we. I don't say we. I say they. Because we was enslaved. And when you see, I done did videos on the Revolutionary War, 1776, and when George Washington was fighting against the tribes that was here, and he also had other tribes that was fighting the Yamasee, and they was fighting the Cherokees, and all these other tribes some of them was for the Americans and some of them was against the Americans. So we already know what time it is. All right. So this is a little understanding. I hear say colonization of America. It says date of colonization. All right. Let me just make sure y'all can hear me, man. I do not want to. All right, we good. Y'all can hear me, right? I guess I should be good because I can still see the volume moving. All right, so we good. All right, so let me go back into this. All right, so never mind, it's my phone ringing. All right, so the colonization of America. So this is date of colonization, naming the colonies and settlements. All right, so we see 1607 Virginia. All right. We see 1620 Plymouth settlement, New York, 1626, Massachusetts Bay, 1630. Now, some of these numbers are off, but as you see, these are all the time. Now, 1632 in Georgia. Now, remember, Georgia was named after King George, okay? Now, this is interesting. This is very interesting, all right? Now, as you see, these are basically most of Terra Nova, or what we call the eastern seaboard of North America, all right? Now, check it out. So, colonization of America, interesting facts and information about the early colonization of America. Colonization of America, the first facts and info with colonization of America. So say, all right, that's something else, all right? So, I mean, I'm going to go into another article, as usual. So, let me see something. Which one do I want to go into? Let me see this one right here. All right, bet. I'm going to go on this one right here. Click this shit off. All right, so European immigration to America, all right? So since we already got a good reason to that, we're going to touch on this. So it's a history of European immigration to America. The reason European immigrations to America. Now ask yourself this question, right? Who asked these motherfuckers to come here? Did the people here send an invitation to the country and say, yo, y'all can come here and chill over here. Y'all can have the land? No, that's not the case. They chose to come over here. Colonization was forced upon us. It wasn't something that you requested or something that you asked for. And even today, you're forced under colonization, you're forced under these United States certain citizenships, even though that under the Dred Scott case, 1854, they tell you that you would never become a citizen, or you would never have no European will ever respect any so-called black or Negro. Now understand this, right? I am one of them who is pro paperwork, right? But understand this, paperwork will get you a little bit more liberation than the other Negroes that don't know who they are. But also understand this, you got to go to them to give them paperwork. So you got to go to another European who ain't from here to recognize you as you being an Indian, you being an Aborigine. But you know what I'm saying? That's a whole nother discussion though. But you'd rather do that than not do it. But what I'm trying to say is that you still got to go through them to gain freedom. You know, why am I going through colonists that don't know? Because they already set up a colony. They got all the guns. They got militias and armies and fucking bombs and all this other shit that you don't have. All right. So for the most part, you know, if you want to do it, you got to, you know, you can use the undrip and the A-drip. Now, I got people who propose who are not in agreement to that, but understand this. You'll rather make a declaration and have people know who you are than you going along with the rest of the sheeples and just not saying nothing and just saying, yeah, I'm a Negro, I'm black, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? At least let them know, like, nah, motherfuckers, I'm not a African American, or I'm not a Negro or black. I'm an Aborigine in North America, okay? And I'm not one of these Mongoloids. And if you ever hear any of the Mongoloids claim to be Aborigines, then we should start suing them, because we know that they're not first inhabitants, okay? And we know Smithsonian Institute tells you the first Americans resemble Africans, Australians, and South Pacific Islanders. Just so happens you have over 60 million, even though they keep telling you 40 million, it's over 60 million of us who think that we are Africans. And just so happens that when you understand what really was done over here, you will understand that for the first 200 years, they were shipping your ass back and forth to the Caribbean, bringing you back as Negroes. And when you come back as a Negro, you're no longer part of the tribe. And that's what the word Negro means. The word Negro is a denotation of I guess you want to say nationality or citizen. It means property. That's why the word Negro is used the way it is. Now, some people would say, "Oh, well, we was Nagas," and I'm not okay. All right, but here, the word Negro ain't got that power. Okay, so let's keep it moving, man. I don't know why the fuck this shit keep doing this, man, but we're gonna keep reading. We're gonna read through this. All right. So it say, why the European? Why? No, check this out. This is interesting. All right, this is funny too, right? Why did the Europeans want to leave their homes and undertake a dangerous 3,000-mile journey to an unknown life in America? The reason for the first wave of European immigration to America was first based on obtaining profit from the new land, but quickly changed as people decided to move from Europe to escape the religious and political persecution. The prospect of starting a new life and owning some land was also a major reason for the first European immigration to America. Now, how the fuck you gonna come own something where people already inhabiting? Oh, you gonna steal some shit? Because that's what they did. They don't own nothing because ain't nobody sell them nothing. Most of these treaties was done under threat, duress, and coercion. Any wars that you've seen that the people fighting against them, telling them that they didn't want them here, but they still was encroaching upon them. So they basically forced themselves. So colonization is basically like somebody breaking your fucking house and force you to fucking live amongst them. And that's exactly what we're going through to today. And that's the reason why they do what they do to her. Yeah, you motherfuckers know who the Autochthonous is, so I ain't got to hide nothing. All right, so the history of the European immigration to America, the Spanish immigrant. So Spanish established the Spanish colonies in America known as New Spain. All right, say between 1519 and 1821, Spain controlled the South Atlantic coast, Mexico, and the islands of the Caribbean, which I don't agree with that because The English kicked the Spanish out. When the Spanish was in, yeah, the Spanish was already in which what we would call, what we consider Jamaica first, right? And this is the reason why they tell you that the Maroons went into a remote location of the islands. All right. Now, you know, one who's not very educated would think that the Maroons was Africans that was brought here by the Spanish. What did Columbus say? Columbus told you that he took people from here to Spain, and they was classified as Negro de Terra, Negro from the new land. Why would they call them Negro from the new land if they was Africans that was brought here? Oh, because he never brought no Africans here. The Portuguese never brought no Africans here. Okay, I have an interesting interview with the brother Medicine Man, and the brother Medicine Man tells you that the Nigerians came from fucking Brazil. Now you got to do your own research on it, though. But like I said, man, this is some real interesting shit. Shout out to my brother nonetheless. This is exactly a crime scene, so don't nobody touch nothing. But it's too late. They already touched everything and took everything. They took all the gold, all the copper, everything. And they even took your nationality and gave it to everybody who come here. Okay, even though that's a whole nother story, that most people who come here are United States citizens. They'll never be Americans. All right. So, all right, let me see something real quick. Matter of fact, you know what? I'm gonna read through this just to give you some more perspectives or whatever. But most of us already know a lot of this stuff, though. But I want to touch on Hawaii, because this is some interesting shit right there. All right, so boom, we're going to go down a little bit more. So the history of the immigration of Europe to America. The first European immigrant, you already know, they said the immigration of America began in the late 1500s. Sir Walter Raleigh, 1554 through 1618, led expeditions to North America in order to search for gold. Found new settlements and searched for gold. So to come to somebody else's land and steal some shit. That's it. In 1585, several shiploads of European colonists, to America, settled in Roanoke Island, where Virginia Dare. They say the firstborn European parents were born in America. Say these first immigrants mysteriously disappeared. Roanoke was given the name the Lost Colony. They was murdered because the people here didn't want them here. They say other English, and they try to make it seem like, oh, they get mysteriously disappeared. Nah, you come somewhere and you see some strange people living somewhere or whatever, and how dare them, and how naive of them they was to come here and say, damn, we just gonna go move to some land where people don't live at, and then if the people that's there rise up against them, we're just gonna fight them off, and then we're gonna tell these stories like, oh, we have all these beautiful romantic stories, or how we shared and broke food. No, you shared and broke food with the people who were selling the other Aborigines out, which was a small population. Okay. And say other English colonies were soon established by Pilgrims and Puritans. Jamestown settlement was established in Virginia colony in 1607. They say the Plymouth colony was founded in 1620, say by the Mayflower Pilgrims. In 1630, a religious group of Puritans left Europe in search of religious freedom in the Massachusetts Bay. And this is where you get the story of the Pequots. The Pequots were shipped out to Barbados and Bermudas and brought back as Negroes. Okay, they say histories, and like I said, and that's some interesting shit, right? Because they will ship you out of here, right? And now I'm gonna put this as a footnote, right? Now, when you see the word slave and you see the word Negro, your mind is automatically programmed to think that these was Africans. We, first of all, we not slaves, because slaves are Slovenian, Slavic groups, the Russia or Slovenian area, which them are Europeans. Okay, they are not no motherfucker. We are not slaves. We are POW. We are prisoners of motherfucking war, which they don't want to use them terms because them terms sound a lot worse than slaves. Okay, because, you know, even when the Europeans talk today, will say, oh, no, you were sold by your own people. Why would we sold by our own people? Because you made friends with a lot of these tribes that was here. Not a lot of them, but small numbers of them. The tribes that was here because they could not fight or beat the mighty Powhatans or the mighty Algonquins or Iroquois or these numerous different tribes that was here. So they formed to sell these people out and side with the Europeans so they can take over the area, because they could not beat them. They could not beat them individually. So they figured, though, by them getting fire sticks, aka guns, that now, which the Europeans were bringing here, that they could sell their people out. And that's exactly what happened. And people don't even understand that. People don't even understand that your own people sold you out. But that doesn't exclude the European, because the European was the foundation for them selling you out. Now they would sit there and say, well, your own people, well, why did my own people sell me out? Because you went there asking for them, you went there asking for shit and they helped you. So the motivation for our own people selling out was the European colonists that came here. All right. So boom. Let's say how the European immigration to America, the Great Migration, the 13th colony. It's the Great Migration was a term used to describe the wave of over 50,000 English immigrants, it's say, to America between 1620 and 1640, which led to the establishment of the first colonies: Virginia, Maryland, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, New Hampshire. All right, we went over that. Say British control the northern Atlantic coast of America, which is Terra Nova, the northern seaboard. For additional facts, history, stats refer. All right, you can click on that little link right there. All right, I actually put this shit in the description. And if I don't, just remind me to. The history of the European immigration to America. All right, so here we go with the French. All right, now, like I said, let me put this out there one more time. The French, the Spanish, and the Portuguese did not rock with the British. The British came here to North America. That is the reason why you speak English. Did anyone ever ask themselves, well, hold up, the British considered us to be blackamoors, and when they put that word black in front of the word more, that's another denotation of who we are. Okay, so why would they calling you other terms other than Negro? Because when the Spanish was when they took over the Caribbean from the Spaniards or whatever, the people who was already in Caribbean at this point in time was always being called Negroes. So they was calling these people Negroes. Now they will pick up the term Negro. And then also we know that Sir Francis Drake, John Hawkins, they was fucking pirates. They was robbing the Spanish vessels. As the Spanish leave the island of Espanol to go back to Spain, what happened was they was robbing these ships looking for gold. And in process of looking for gold, they was finding Negroes. Okay? When they tell you the story of what's the story, man? Chief always love to talk about. It's gonna come to me, man. The shit about Cuba and I can't think of the name right now. They got the movie for it though. Amistad. Amistad was motherfucking Aborigines that was already in the Americas, that they was shipping out or even was trying to send them back to Spain. There was not no people who came from no Africa. These people already spoke Spanish or they already identified and they answered the Spanish commands. You know how long it takes you to learn Spanish if you didn't know it? Okay. All right, so the history of the European and immigration, the European immigration to America, the French immigrants, the early French immigrants from Europe to America was dictated by the establishment of the colonies of New France, Gallia, Nova. I say between the time period of 1534 and 1763, France concentrated in effort of gaining northern lands of the New World, establishment and dominance via the area surrounding St. Lawrence River, eventually claiming the entire Mississippi River Valley. Okay, now check this out. What do the Autochthonous one teach? Autochthonous one teach that the Haitians came from Louisiana and from that region, or what we call, like, that's the reason why they were founded Chicago. No, a French-speaking Aborigine founded Chicago. So they make you think that anybody who spoke French was from Haiti, or anybody who spoke Creole was from Haiti. No. What do the people in Louisiana speak now? What do why do the people in Louisiana speak practice voodoo? Why? Because they was already practicing it. If the French got kicked out in 1763, and then what happened from there? They started taking people to the island of Espanol, and people, when you look up the word Haiti or Haiti, we know that it was already kind of established or named that earlier. Okay, but what I'm trying to tell people is that the majority of the people that on that island came from Louisiana. They came from Louisiana. And this is my own research, because they even tell you that the French, the Nash tribe, which we just showed you, the Double Punch Bowl, which a lot of these people was from the Nash region. And if they were from that region, meaning that they was the people who was in that region. And then was the people who landed was. They tell you that the Nash was the people who was involved in the Double Punch Bowl, right? But they also tell you that the Nash the French enslaved the Nash and sent them to the Caribbean. What countries did the French inhabit in the Caribbean? The $1 million question. What countries did the French inhabit? So they telling you that the Nash had to be taken to Haiti as well. So they telling you this, and when you look up the dates, it all makes sense. But you will have these numerous Black Pan-African scholars. Oh, they brought these people from Africa. Look, man, the gig is up. The gig is up. The gig is up, okay? It's over with. Stop telling us we're African. Stop making us think that the oldest land mass was Africa. There's no such word as Africa, because we are not the Afri or Afar tribe as mentioned in the word. People will tell you that the word Africa alone is from uncertain origins. They don't know where the word came from. They try to tell you Scipio the Africanus. No. Africanus. Anytime you see that word Africanus, mean conquer, or it's a term for conquering or taking over something. Okay? Now, African. What did Scipio the Africanus conquer? He conquered the Phoenician regions of what we call northern so-called Africa, or whatever we call that landmass. Okay? Who did he conquer from? Hannibal. Now, they tell you that Hannibal and his tribe was called the Afar. Okay, now there's supposed to be thousands of different tribes in there. Okay, none of these tribes called the Afar. So why would you apply the word Africa to the whole continent? Okay, now let me keep it moving. All right. So the 5 colonies of New French consisted of Canada, 1534. I can see it. I'm sorry, I can see it. It's a 1604. And Palisades, 1662. Houston Bay, 1630, and the French colony of Louisiana, 1682. The massive area claimed by the French in New France eventually covered over 3 million square miles, but ended with the treaty in Paris. It says 1763, when all New France east of the Mississippi, except the area surrounding New Orleans, was conceded to Great Britain. What the fuck did I just tell you? So what happened to all these people that they had under their region for all that time? Okay, it says for additional facts, click on that link. All right, so the history of this is the Dutch, dealing with the Dutch. So Holland, Netherlands claimed land which became known as New Netherland. All right, it says which covers the areas of the mid-Atlantic states, which eventually became New York after the Duke of York took it over. It say New Jersey, Rhode Island. Rhode Island. That's what it says. Rhode Island. It say claimed the land which became known as No, I'm sorry, my bad. I'm reading some notes, my bad. It's a Rhode Island, my bad, Rhode Island, Delaware, and Connecticut. Due to trading alliance, immigrants from Scandinavia joined the Dutch immigrants and traveled across the Atlantic Ocean on Dutch ships and settled among the Dutch in the islands of Netherlands. The Dutch in Netherlands chose the island of Manhattan as its capital, and its major port was named New Amsterdam. It say what would be later changed to New York. The first wave of Dutch immigrants was during the 1600s when the Dutch West India Company established a patron land grant system. It say the land of Netherlands was lost to the English, but the Dutch settled continue to immigrate. Click on that link. All right, so here we go. We got other different lands right here, so you can check on this. I'm gonna actually read right here on the Germans. All right, so it says the history of European immigration to America and the German immigrants. The German immigration to America initially centered in Pennsylvania and upstate New York during the 1700s. The early German immigrants were search of religious freedoms and opportunity for trade. The first major wave of German immigration occurred from 1840 when the Germans, like many other Europeans, suffered a serious crop failure, including the potato. Now remember, the potato was found in Virginia, okay? So they didn't have no potato in Europe prior to them coming to Roanoke Island. Okay, don't let them fool you. It says 1854 to 1849. It said nearly 1 million Germans fled from their home country to a new life. So how do you leave your home and come to somebody else's home and then claim land? Now, what happens if the people here, what happens if all right, so let me ask you, let's just use our brain with this, right? So let's say, all right, the Germans, okay, all right, the Germans fled their land to come to a new land, right? So what happens if the people in the new land don't want you here? You just pack up and go back home, or what happens? What happens from there? What happens? So you get to a new, we don't want you here, man. Go back home. What do you think they going to do? It's when you get all the wars. It's when you get all of the wars. And we're gonna read some stuff that's gonna show you that 90% of the Aborigines did not want any of these Europeans on this land. Okay, but what happened? It says in search of a new life. Now this is what everybody do today. Oh, we're gonna move to the Americas and search for a new life. A lot of these immigrants today. Oh, you know what I'm saying? Oh, we came here for a search of a new life or whatever. You left China and left Cuba and left fucking India and left Europe. You know what I'm saying? And even some people who don't even belong on, like a lot of the Spanish and Hispanics that's in South America are due to the Spanish that came there. Okay, and also that mixed with some of the Chinese or the Mongoloid tribes that was there as well. Now, like I said, if you come to somebody's land and they don't want you here, what happens from there? Do you go back home or do you fight? You put it together. All right, so it say 1 million Germans, 1 million of them poor bastards fled their home country to a new life in America. More Germans immigrants follow the German farmers. It say were hit by an influx of cheap American wheat and over 1 million farmers and agricultural laborers. Now understand this, whether none of them motherfuckers know, they learned all this shit from the people here. Okay, because how you gonna come to a land and you ain't got this shit in your land? So how you gonna move to another land? And that's what I'm saying. All these people is responsible for what happened here. Okay, all of them. All right, so agriculture laborers left Germany for a better. So they saying that because of that they could not establish something. So they wanted this instant gratification. So because you can't build the house, I'm gonna take your house from you. Okay. Because my house don't have a pool in the backyard, and my house don't have fucking the new technology. I'm living in a shanty home. I'm gonna take your house from you. This is pretty much what it says to me. Okay, let me read it again. 1 million Germans fled their home country to a new life in America. More German immigrants followed as German farmers hit by an influx of cheap American wheat. Over 1 million farmers and agricultural laborers left Germany for a better farming prospect in America. But let's hold up. But let's stop here. What if the mighty Algonquin or the tribes here do not want you to come here? What happens? What happens from there? Nah, Germany, we don't want y'all here, man. Nah, you can't come here. Who told you come here? Oh, some more Europeans told you could come here? Oh, well, you need to go back there and go take your frustration out on them because we don't want you here. And this is pretty much what we're dealing with today. All right, so it's agriculture laborers left for a better farming prospect in the, they say United States, but it was actually America. Okay, it said another great wave of immigration occurred during the industrialization of America in the late 1800s. Now they make it seem like this shit is a love story for them. Oh man, we moved here or we came here for a better land, but I believe that all of the people was killed, but they want to tell you what they did to the people. They want to make it seem like, oh well, okay, so let's say if they did kill all the people here. What the fuck do that make them? So the people who lived here didn't survive, but you survived. So all right, so let me get it right. So the people who house it was, they didn't survive, but you survived. Ponder on that. All right, so let's read this. The history of Eastern European immigration to America, American kids. All right. So it says the Eastern European immigrants. It say by the late 1900s. We know what, we don't even need to touch on that shit, man. We're gonna go somewhere else. We're gonna go here. Let me see something. All right, let's go ahead. We're gonna read a little bit of this. It say when the Native Americans were slaughtered in the name of civilization. All right. I'm not going to read that part right there. I'm going to go right here. All right. Boom. Here we go. From the time the Europeans arrived on the American shores, the frontier, the edge of territory between the white man civilization and the untamed natural world. Now, how the fuck was we untamed when I got the encyclopedia, or thanks to the brother AP and my brother Jaguar Omek, they actually was so nice to give it to me or whatever, and let me be part of the series that we've been doing or whatever though. But nonetheless though, we see the technology that we had over here. So how the fuck, how was we uncivilized when we was rapping the dead? How was we uncivilized when we was able to care and we was able to, listen, go back and check the series out, man. The encyclopedia of the Aborigines, and what we gave the world. 1500 years of innovation and inventions, man. Go back and check that since we was uncivilized. They say untamed. We was untamed because we wasn't trying to be like them. Now, I guess tamed these days is you going around killing people. Everything is in bottles. You taking water from land that's not yours. And you selling water back to the people of their own land. You poisoning people with lead pipes that because of the fluoride, it pulls the lead out of the fucking pipes and then the lead gets to the water and you poison it. We can't farm because you got Monsanto's that with seeds only grow one time and you have to keep buying the seeds from them. So was colonization good for us, or was colonization good for the Europeans? Because we know why they came here. But they to tell them we're untamed, and you got you have a plastic island in the middle of the fucking ocean. You destroy all of the fucking fish. Exxon should have been sued 15 million times by the indigenous people here, by us. But the Europeans just cleared like it was nothing. Oh no, well, are we gonna fix it? We're gonna sue your ass, and your ass should get the fuck off our land. Let me go to the chat room real quick. Let me go back, man, because it's gonna be a heavyweight jam, like I said, man. To make sure, man. Y'all still with me, man? Just press one, man. Y'all still with me, man. Just to let y'all know we back. I'm back up in this motherfucker again. I'm good. All right, let me continue. Let me move on. We was here. All right, so all right, say from the first time that the Europeans arrived on American shores, the frontier of the edge of the territory between the white man's civilization, it's saying, and the untamed natural world became a spared space of vast clashing differences that led the U.S. government to authorize over 1,500 wars, attacks, and raids on Aboriginal. Most of any countries in the world against the Aboriginal indigenous people. By the close of the Indian Wars, the late 19th century, say, now look, this is here you go. Fewer than 238,000 indigenous people remain. No, the rest of them was classified as Negroes and blacks. Okay? You started in Virginia. What did the people look like in Virginia? Go back and look at my videos. They was Negroes. They was Negroes. Hold up. Let's just for the people who don't understand this shit. Let me see something, because I don't think y'all can see this. All right, because y'all can't see this. All right, so just for the people who don't understand this shit, all right? Let's go to VA. Let me find some images of Virginia real quick. Hold up. Hold up. Let me find some images of Virginia. I'm gonna click on this one real quick. It's one of them. Go back here real quick. Let me just give y'all a couple of what the people looked like that was here already. Because these lying bastards will lie to you and tell you something different. Let's go back again. This is just for the people who think that it was only 130,000 indigenous people left. Don't let me pull out the census from 1790 census. Don't let me have to open up again, all right? And this is for people who just probably come into this, who don't fully understand, all right? Carlos Service Moyes, military the Mexicans that you see, ones they keep showing you, are not the real fucking Mexicans, okay? Now, this is from Carlos. We already know what the Olmecs look like. He said the Negro is seen in most ancient sculptures. It is to this race doubtly belong the most ancient skeleton distinctive from the Red American race, which has been found in various places from Bolivia to Mexico. Mexico. It is likely we repeat America was a Negro continent. Okay? Okay, you gotta say that shit, man. You gotta have to say it like that, man, because people slow, man. Check this out. I got thousands of these pictures, man. Let me show you something. This is in Peru. These is Negroes, okay? So where the fuck is these people at now? Oh, they're back in Belize and Honduras. That's where they at, right? Now check this out. This is for the slow people, like the Amin Ra Squad and Brother Onk and Garfield and the rest of these goofballs, all right? Now, it say the American Indian, race is found only in America, right? Now, this is what they call the American Indian right here. You see my thing circling, right? This is what they call the African, right? Now, it say the African or Negro race. Now, check this out. Just because I like to do the research, man. Let me just go and open this up real quick. Since I'm gonna because it's gonna be a heavyweight jam, so I might as well just put it all in here. Might as well just put it all in here together. Might as well together. Just bear with me, y'all. All right. This is the distinctive characteristics of the Aboriginal race of America by Samuel George Morton, MD. Okay. And don't let these idiots who's not an MD or who don't do no field research except from the Google computers or whatever tell you anything different. All right. We're going to page 5. All right. We're going to go to page 5. Okay. We are right. Let me see. All right, here we go. Right here. All right. It cannot be questioned that the physical physical differences do occur equally, singularly, and explicable. It says as seen in different shades of colors, varying from fair tint to complexion almost black. And this too under circumstances in which climate can have little to no influence. So also in reference to stature, the difference are remarkable, and entire tribes which moreover are geographically proximate to each other. These facts, however, are mere exceptions to a general rule and do not alter the peculiar physiognomy of the Indian, which is as undivinely characteristics of that of the Negro. For whether we see him in his athletic room or his stun chama in the dark California, it say, or the fair warrior, it say he is an Indian and cannot be mistaken for any other race. Now, why is he saying this? Why is he saying this, huh? Why is he saying this? Why? You know why he's saying this? Because of this picture right here. Now look, this is for you idiots, right? You see this, Mongoloid. This is a Malayan, which is an Indian, or what they call a Hindustan. This is the devil, the Caucasus Asian. Here go your African. Now remember, he gets said that the Indian is the same as a Negro. So they put the word Negro by Africa to confuse you, okay? But one thing they cannot confuse you on, they will put this, oh, this Australian, this motherfucker don't look nothing like no Australian, okay? He looks the same as him. Just like the other picture I just showed you. Look, just like this picture. These motherfuckers is the same. He got an afro. He has an afro. The same fucking people. Look at him. He got a fat gold chain around his neck. These are the same motherfuckers right here. Okay? Now look. Also, look at this. Look, they got afros. These are Indians. Look at the hair. This is in Boston. Look at their motherfucking hair. Now look, check this out. Now we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna go to Virginia. This is not an African. This is an Indian. This is an Indian, you idiots. Look. Now, they say Indian, Powhatan, and Pocahontas. Okay, now this is in the Virginia Historical Society. This is what the people look like. I got the images. I don't even have to use this. I can show you the other rest of it, all right? Like I said, man, go on and on and on, man. Let's get back to the what's the name? Let's get back to this, all right? So just so people won't ask. All right. Well, the indigenous people was wiped out by they wasn't. They was wiped out by classifications. They reclassified you as black, meaning they took away your land and they took the land, meaning they white. White means purity of the land, meaning that they're the owner of the fucking land. Okay, was it people want to believe that now? Because people so caught up with colors, people think that European is really white when he's not white. People think that fucking African American or Aborigine American is black when he's really not black. You have never seen a black man. Yeah, there's some black looking people that the what they call the Darwinians in India, which is blue black. I got a cousin, his name is Blue. He's blue black or whatever, but he's still indigenous to this land. And you got a few people over in Africa who is blue black. The majority of people over in Africa are copper colored people just like us. All right. So it says fewer than 238,000 indigenous people remain, a sharply decline. Now I ain't gotta go to the census. Please don't have me pull a census out. All right. It says from the estimate 5 million to 15 million living in North America when Columbus. Now I say 5 million, 15 million living. That's not true. Because according to Henry Dobbins, he said it was 112 million people. Now I said, now look, it's no way we can actually substantiate that, but we can start playing with the numbers and start at least speculating or using a guesstimation process, just like they using a guesstimation. If they only go by two of the historians, right? Gotta pull it up, y'all. Got to, because if we're gonna do this shit, we're gonna do it right. We're gonna do it right. It's colonization, and we're gonna show you who the people who they colonize. Stop these foolish games, all right? Now y'all can read through this shit all you want. Here go the people that they lie and tell you, oh, these are the Indians. No, they not. No, they not. This is a motherfucking Indian. They calling him an American. Look. Do he look anything like them people they showing? Do he look anything like the people that they showing up there? You tell me. You use your eyes. Do this man right here look anything like these motherfucking Mongoloids? Do he look anything like them? What about him? What about him in Virginia? Do he look anything like them? Do he have straight hair? No. So you know that they lying. They even lying even when they show you the images of these people. All right. So let's keep it moving. All right. So look, it says the Americas of 1492. It say nearly all scholars estimates of the New World 1492 population fall between the count of two anthropologists, Alfred Korber. It say 1934 estimates that 8.4 million, and Henry Dobbins 1966 estimate of 12.5 million, 112.5 million. Okay, don't tell me I do this, man. All right, so let's keep it moving. All right, so he tell you, oh, 5 to Columbus said it was 8 million people on the island of Espanol. Look how small the island of fucking Espanol is compared to North America. And you think that if it was 8 million people there, how many people you think it was really hit? How many? Okay. All right. Say the reason for the racial genocide were many layers. It say settlers, most whom has been barred from inheriting property in Europe. Okay, so they was barred from owning land in Europe. It say arrived on American or Indian land. The abundance of natural resources that came with it. So stop saying Africa has all the natural resources when all of the food is here in Americas. Okay, all of the food. Listen, combo and lithium will not be fucking good. You cannot use no combo or lithium. You cannot use diamonds or any of that shit if you ain't got no motherfucking food. Okay, look at Africa. Most of Africa look like a damn bomb hit it. Look at it. There's not abundance of trees or whatever in them. And when the Africa that they show you, you don't even see no fucking trees or nothing. That shit look all dry land. So where's the fucking mango trees? Where's the fucking all of these trees that you find in America? They're only in the region of the Congos and in certain other parts. All right, let's get back to it. All right, so it said the reasons for the racial genocide were multi-layered. Settlers, most of whom had been barred from inheriting property in Europe, arrived on American shores hungry for Indian land. The abundance of natural resources that came with it. Indian conclusion with the British during the American Revolution and the wars of 1812 exacerbated American hostility and suspicion towards them. It say even more fundamental, indigenous people were just too different. Their skin was dark. Their skin was dark. Their skin was dark. It was forming. Their worldview of spiritual belief was beyond most white man comprehension. The settlers fearful might became the next Mary Campbell. It say all this stroke racial hatred and paranoia, making it easy to paint indigenous Aboriginal people as pagan savages who must be killed in the name of civilization and Christianity. All right. It say below. Check this out. It say below. It say some of the most aggressive facts of genocide taken against the indigenous American. Oh, I thought they came here and we was friendly towards them. No, look, this picture shows everything. Look, this lady got locks in her hair, man. Look this devil killing them. Look. All right, I don't know how to pronounce this word. The Nandin Hatton Massacre, 1782. A group of Marvinians. It say protesting. It's in Ohio killed 96 Christian Delaware Indians, illustrating in the growing contempt for Native people. Captain David Williamson ordered the converted Delaware. No, it say ordered the converted Delawares, who have been blamed for the attacks on white settlement. But why would they attack you? What are you doing here? What is you doing? They didn't want you here, so why are you forcing yourself to be here? Okay, now check this out. It say blame for the tax on white settlement. It say to go to the Cooper's shop 2 times at a time. No, it say shop 2 at a time. It say while the militiamen beat to death with wooden mallets and hatchets. It say ironically, the Delaware was the first Indians to capture a white settler. It say and the first to sign a U.S. Indian treaty for years earlier. It say one that set the precedent for 374 Indian treaties over the next 100 years. It say often exploring the common phrase of peace and friendship. Peace and friendship. What they try to tell you that the Moors fucking what's the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, but it just wasn't for the Moors. It was for all of them. Okay, they say 226. That's what the Constitution was. The great peace, the great peace. What's the name? Well, y'all look that shit up. Y'all already know what it is or whatever. It say 229 of these agreements led to tribal lands being conceded and rapidly expanding United Snakes. It say many treaties negotiated U.S. Indian trade relations, establishing the trading system to out the British and their goods, especially the guns they put in Indian hands. What the hell did I tell you? Let's keep it moving, okay? Now, don't let these pictures get you fucked up. I already showed you. I already showed you what the true Indian look like. I already showed you what the real Indians look like. You already see them. So don't let these pictures, these niggas is lying. They're lying. They're lying, okay? Keep on fooling you on what the people looked at like, all right? All right, so the Battle of Tippecanoe. It say in the early 1800s, the rise of the charismatic Shawnee warrior leader Tucson, it say, and his brother known as the Prophet. It say convinced Indians and various tribes that it was in their interest to stop tribal infighting and band together. Now, tribal infighting. Who have tribal infighting today? Who have tribal infighting? It say and band together to protect the mutual interest. The decision by the Indian Territory governor, later President Harrison, it say in 1811 to attack and burn the Prophet Town, the Indian capital on the Tippecanoe River. It say and Tucson was away campaigning. Now we read this. This is about Dragon Canoe. It's a campaigning. It say the Chickasaw for more warriors incited the Shawnee leader to attack again. The time he persuaded the British to fight alongside the warriors against the Americans to consent death and defeat at the Battle of Times in 1813 made the Ohio frontier safe for settlers at least for a time. Okay. Now we already went through a lot of this stuff though. Now check this out. The Creek War. They say the South, the wars of the 1812. They say bled into the Muskok Creek War. It said 1813 to 1814, also known as the Red Stick War. The intertribal conflict among the Creek Indians fractioned the wars who also engaged in U.S. militia. Now, when you keep saying that word militia, what do you think came out of that word? Who do you think the militias are? U.S. militia. Maybe that's the reason why they let these motherfuckers up in Virginia and run people over with cars and shit like that, because the militias was the second line of defense for the fucking country. All right, it said along the British and the Spanish who backed the Indians to help keep the Americans, they not American, we are American, to help keep the Europeans from encroaching on their interests. Early Creek victories inspired the devil, Andrew Jackson, who was on a $20 bill, which you motherfuckers kill each other for, to retaliate with 2,500 men. It's a massacre of Fort Mims. Jackson and his men slaughtered 186 Creeks at the Talakatachi. It's who shot them down like dogs, said Davy Crockett. All right. The desperation of Creek women killed their children so they would not see the soldiers butchered them. They say they killed their own children so they won't even see the soldiers butcher them. As one woman started to kill baby, it say frame Indian fighter Andrew the Devil grabbed the child from the mother, later delivering the Indian baby to his wife, Rachel, we say, for both of them to raise on their own. So he took the baby and raised it on their own after he killed the mother, okay? Jackson went on to with it. Now, what do you see now? What do you see these devils doing now? They go over to all these countries, Andrew Lee, Jolene, what's that other fucking bitch, Charlene, whatever, got the little boy dressed up with fucking running around like fucking Peter Pan with ballerinas and a fucking tutu or whatever, the emasculation of even the Aborigine kids or whatever of other lands or whatever. All right? It say Jackson went on to win the Red Stick War and decided battle of Horseshoe Bend, the subsequently treaty. It say required the Creek to concede more than 21 million acres of land to the United States. Okay. Now, these people right here are not the people who we already showed you, man. We already showed you. We already established what the Aborigines looked like here. We already established it. Okay. So we know when they show you these images, they're along again. All right, so I'm gonna just read a little bit more. Let me see what else we got. Matter of fact, you know what? I'm gonna go through this right here. All right, so I'm gonna read these next three articles. Next three paragraphs, and then I'm gonna keep it moving. All right. So here, matter of fact, this is about the Trail of Tears. We don't need to read this because we're most already touched on this. I never heard of this right here. The man Cato. Hold up. Let me make sure I'm in the right place. All right, the Mankato executions. All right, so it said the provision promised to Indians through the government treaties were slow in being delivered, leaving the Dakota people who were restricted to reservation land. So they took over the whole country and put your ass on one land with other fucking Indians. It say on Minnesota frontier, starving and desperate. It say after a raid nearby, white farms for food turned into a deadly encounter. The Dakota continue raiding. It say leading to a Little Crow War. It say of 1862. It say in which 490 settlers, mostly women and children, was killed. President Lincoln sent soldiers who defeated the Dakota. It say, and after a series of mass trials, more than 300 Dakota men were sentenced to death. While Lincoln commuted more of the sentences on that day after Christmas at the Mankato military, it say officials hung 38 Dakota at once. It say a largest mass execution in American history. More than 4,000 people gathered in the streets to watch. Many bring. Now check this out. Right now, think of it like this. They was hanging the Aborigines. Who else was they hanging in the 1900s? Who else was they hanging in the 1900s? Was they hanging these people because these people was claiming? Now, remember, we know in the 1900s after, because understand this, when you get the census, okay? When we get the census, all right? Do I got to pull the census up? Should I pull the census up? No, I ain't pulling it up. You guys go back and look at the other videos. But if you look at the census, we know that the 1890 census was burnt. Why was that 1890 census burnt? Because after the Emancipation Proclamation, a lot of the Aborigines that was classified as black started to claim that they was Indians to get their fucking land back. But what they did was they burnt the classification, and then this is when you get your 1928, 1924 Racial Integrity Act dealing with Walter Plecker. Walter Plecker basically started classifying people was already coming and telling you that they was Aborigines. He started putting that colored on the fucking birth certificate. Now my father is very dark skinned and his birth certificate says colored. So it wasn't just people who was light or mulatto that was classified as color. It was everybody. It was everybody who was at one point in time black or Negro that was classified as colored. Okay, what do they tell you? Most of the colored people are the Aborigines of the land. Okay, now It was hanging just like they hung them. Who else was they hanging in the early 1900s? Oh, they was hanging the original Aborigines, and these are also Aborigines too, right here. Okay, so it says, it says, hold up, check this shit out. Hold up, check this shit out. Check this motherfucking shit out, y'all. Check this out. Let me read this again. More than 4,000 people gathered in the streets to watch, many bringing picnic baskets. Hold fuck up. Where did we get the word picnic from? You let that migrate. Pick a nigga. Bringing picnic baskets. 38 was burnt in shallow graves along the Minnesota River. It say, but physicians dug up most of their bodies and to use as medical cadavers. Wow, my God. So when you hear about the Devil's Punch Bowl, all of these the mass graves that gets dug up in Texas, or whatever, them was fucking Aborigines that was murdered by these devils, man. There wasn't no motherfucking nigga. Them was Aborigines that was murdered by these fucking devils. And they telling you right here, you put two and two together. Okay? Why was they saying the same shit they was doing? More than 4,000 people gathered in the streets to watch, many bringing picnic baskets. Now hold up, man. Let's hold up, man. Hold up, man. Hold up. Let's see something real quick, man. That shit says lynching of black Indians. Oh shit, I ain't never see that before. Look. Look. See this shit? Well, this right here, I guess this ain't no reenactment. It's some real shit. Look at this shit. Now, them Mexicans right there. Look, who would do something like that? Who would hang all these fucking people in a tree like this, man? And then eat watching this shit, and then clip their testicles and give it to the child. Who would do that? This is colonization right here, man. This is the part of colonization that they don't want to talk about. Look. See this shit? This is the part of colonization they don't want to talk about. Okay? And the same thing like when they show you these people right here. Now, these are basically Seneca Village, okay? This was when they chased the people. They try to tell you, oh, Seneca Village was an African-American, no, it was Aborigine. The people was already living in that area. And guess what they did? They took the people from the original Seneca tribe, which was already Aborigine, black people who was already there, not no fucking Africans, because they try to make you think that every time they want to hide the fact that it was black people here. So every time that they do show you a nigga, they're gonna say, "Oh, that's African." But what is this right here? What is this right here? What's the difference from him and him? What's the difference? I'm waiting. What's the difference from him and him? I'm waiting. Now, I don't even, but this motherfucker right here might be an Aborigine because of this. Because look at the hair. Look at this. Look. Same fucking people. Same people. Okay? Now, they say straight black hair. Where's his hair straight at? It looked like an afro to me. This shit don't look like it's falling down covering his face. Why is his hair not covering his forehead? Okay, all right. I digress. All right. These are the people from Seneca Village. See, got a pipe in his mouth. These are Aboriginal indigenous people. You don't see Africans smoking like that. Who do you see smoking over here? Who is the people you see smoking the most? Some of you niggas right now got black and miles in your mouths and shit while I'm doing this video. And cigarettes and shit like that. All right? So, now, we was right here. So this says, more than 4,000 people gathered in on the streets to watch, many bringing pick a nigger basket. The 38 was buried in shallow ground along the Minnesota River. Now check this out. Where did they get found bodies at in Texas? Oh, them was Indians, bro. Them was Indians, bro. Them was Indians. Them was Indians, all right? Let me see. Should I read this? Let me see something. Yeah, I'm gonna read. Fuck it. Why not? The Sand Creek Massacre. Indians fighting back to defend their people and protect their homeland provided an ample justification of American forces to kill any Indians on the frontier, even peaceful ones. It's a former Methodist minister, John Corrington, led a surprise attack. Now, this was a minister led a surprise attack on the peaceful Cheyenne. It's saying and Aprohos on their reservation. The Sand Creek in southeastern Colorado. His forces consisted of 700 men, mainly volunteers in the 1st and 3rd Colorado regiment. It's piled with too much liquor. It say the night before. It say Chubberton and his men boasted that they was going to kill Indians. It say once the missionary to the Wyandotte Indians in Kansas, the Chariton declared, "Damn, any man who sympathizes with Indians, I have come to kill Indians and believe it is right and honorable to use any means of God heaven to kill Indians." The fateful morning, Chariton led his men against 200 Cheyennes and Arapaho. It's a Cheyenne Chief Black Kettle. Cheyenne Chief Black Kettle has tied an American flag to the lodge pole. It say as he was instructed. No, as he was instructed to indicate his village was peaceful. When Chariton ordered the attack, a Black Kettle tied a white flag beneath the American flag, calling to his people that the soldiers would not kill them. As many as 160 massacred, most women and children. Okay. All right, Custer's campaign. This is when they try to tell you, oh, Custer, General Custer. All of these devils are the people they fucking honor. It said at the time a war hero from the Civil War emerged in the West. It say Judge Armstrong Custer rode in front of mostly Irish. Sorry. Let me go grab some water real quick. Give me 1 second, people. All right, so I'm back. Let me just run through the chat real quick. Peace to everybody in the chat, man. Just give me a one if y'all still hear me. Mic check, mic check, mic check. Somebody just give me a one real quick if you can still hear me. Mic check, mic check, mic check. Let me see. I don't see no ones up. I ain't gonna go on until I see a one. All right, bet. All right. Thanks, people. All right, let me see. So where was we at? We're gonna read this, and I'm gonna move on to the next paragraph. All right, and I'm showing you what colonization did. All right, so it's at the time a war hero from the Civil War emerged in the West. George Armstrong Custer rode in front of his mostly Irish seven cavalry to the Irish drinking tune. Gary Owen Custer, it's a unwanted fame. It's a and killing Indians. It's but now check this out, man. See, among these devils, killing the Indians or Aborigines was basically bragging rights because they wanted the land. So they know that the only way that they was gonna get the land was by killing people off of the land. And they get told they get killed 160 peaceful women and children. That wasn't even causing no harm, and they still killed them. All right. But yet these people sit here, and this is a European who wrote this article. I didn't write this article. This they history stories when Native Americans were slaughtered in the name of civilization. Okay, this is them writing this shit. It's not the Thompson. It's just going back, retrieving my information and reading it for myself. Okay. All right. So it says, especially peaceful ones weren't expecting to be attacked. Respected opportunity. It say represented opportunity. It say on orders from General Philip Sheridan, Custard and his seven attacked the Cheyenne and the Arapaho. It say allies with the western frontier, the frontier of Indian Territory on November 29th, 1868, near the Washita rivers. After slaughtering 103 warriors plus women and children, Custer's dispatched the Sheridan that a great victory was won and described. One of the Indians were asleep. 2 women and children ordered little resistance. Three, the Indians were bewildered by the change of policy. Custer later led the 7th Cavalry on the northern plains, the Lakota, Arapaho, and northern Cheyennes. It say he boasted the seventh can handle anything it meets. It say, and there are not enough Indians in the world to defeat the 7th Cavalry. Now, this is devil George Custer. Custer last stand. They always try to make it seem like these motherfuckers are thieves and murderers, man. It say, expecting a great surprise victory. Custer attacked the largest gathering war the High Plain on June 25th, 1876, near Montana, Little Bighorn River. Custer death at the hands of Indians making their own last stand and intensified propaganda for military. Now military revenge to bring peace to the frontier. Now look at this shit. Look at this shit. Look at this shit, bro. Look, and they proud of it. And this is their history. And they proud of it. Matter of fact, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna read some more. I'm gonna might as well just finish it out. So Wounded Knee. So anti-Indian against the roles of the late 1880. It say as the great dance spiritual movement emerged, spreading to 24 tribes across the 16 state. It's saying and threatened effort. See, they made it illegal for you to be an Indian, man. Anybody who was an Indian was a fucking was an enemy of theirs, according to what I'm reading. So the only way that you was either going to bow down was either you not claim that you was the Indian, or either you go on the reservations that they put you on. That means going on the reservations means submission. Claiming that you are black means submission. All that shit meant that you submitted. All of it. Okay? It's a threatening effort to culturally assimilate cultural. Hold up, man. Because this article right here telling you everything, man. I just read that they had a picnic after they hung all these Indians. Where else was they hanging people? Who is known for being hung? And they having a picnic. Pick a nigga. Pick a nigga. Yeah, okay. You know, y'all already know. It say, and threatening efforts to culturally assimilate tribal people. What are you? You've been culturally assimilated. You've been culturally assimilated. You go to work, you come home, you watch your bullshit, you eat your bullshit, and everything else that go along with it. You knock your own people because you have a better job than them. You knock your own people because you have a better vehicle than them. You knock your own people because you got more Federal Reserve notes with Andrew Jackson on them than them. Yeah. You brag about it. This fucking fag ass nigga 50 Cent and Floyd Mayweather and all these clowns that people look up to. Making fucking Cent. 50 Cent is a fucking coon, yo. I would never, I don't care about his music. I don't care about his stardom. I do not respect him. I do not respect Floyd, the idiot Mayweather. Oh yeah, I might not be the best motherfucking reader, but Floyd can't read at all. Only thing he got is his money. The only thing he got is a bunch of dead presidents that killed your people to back his lifestyle or to make him seem like he's fucking somebody. Same thing with 50 Cent. All 50 Cent could do is make more drug dealer move. Power. Fuck power. I don't watch that shit. I didn't live the life of a drug dealer. What fuck I need to watch some clown shit or power? That shit is fictional. I don't live the real life shit. It's fictional. Fuck I don't ever want to watch nothing dealing with the destruction of my people or glorifying it. Because where do the drugs go? Most of the drugs either go in our neighborhood. Yeah, you got poor whites on drugs. And I feel bad for the poor whites that's on drugs. I feel bad for anybody who's dealing with drugs. Even though, yeah, we know the Europeans there after reading this, but even though, man, you know what I'm saying? Just like I said, man, I've dealt with this shit and I've seen it, and I've seen how lives been turned upside down. But these are the people who we look up to. The more people who got the Federal Reserve notes with Andrew Jackson on it and the rest of these devils that then fucking had something to do with this shit that I'm reading right here. We look up to them. Oh shit. Money Mayweather. Oh shit. 50 Cent. Fuck 50 Cent. Fuck him. And anybody with any right mind would say, yo, nobody respect you. Just because you got money, you idiot. You run around here, all you do is cause problems amongst our own people. And he run around here like he's so tough and so, like I said, man, I'll beat the shit out of 50 Cent. For real. I don't care how much you've been boxing. And I'm saying that. And I'm saying that humbly. I will beat the shit out of him. I'm not saying if I see him, I will do anything to him. But if it ever beat the shit out of him, man, you ain't tough. All them tough guys like that, them be the same niggas get their ass beat. Because the niggas who tough like that normally soft as hell. Nonetheless, let's keep it moving, man. I'm sorry about the rant, though, but the threatening efforts culturally assimilate tribal people. Now, how have you been assimilated? We just talked about how you've been assimilated. You've been forced to adapt European traditions. You had to give up your tradition because the European was encroaching upon you. The Europeans wanted your land, so therefore they made you the target, made you the enemy. And if you didn't assimilate, that means that you was their enemy, and that means that they was either you were gonna be killed, just like I'm reading in here. Okay, this is a historian, history.com or whatever, and this is accounts of what they got. Okay, now let me keep it moving, man, because I need to get through this. I got some things I gotta do. All right. Now remember, the threatening efforts to culturally assimilate tribal people. Ghost dance, which taught that Indians have been defeated and confined to reservations because they have angered the gods by abandoning their tradition customs. Now hold up, where else do they teach that? Is that not the Israelite story? Is that not the Israelite story? That we've been punished because we've been worshiping other gods and we've been worshiping idols. Is that not the Israelite stories? Okay. Let me read that again. Say, which taught that Indians have been defeated and confined to reservations because they have angered the gods by abandoning their tradition, customs called for the rejection of the white man ways. In December 1890, several weeks after the French Sioux chief Sitting Bull was killed while being arrested. It say the U.S. Army 7th Cavalry massacred 100 to 200 ghost dancers at Wounded Knee of South Dakota for their mass murder of the disarmed Lakota. President Benjamin Harris awarded about 20 soldiers the Medal of Honor. All right, so silence. 3 years after Wounded Knee, Professor Frederick Jackson Turner announced at a small gathering of historians in Chicago that the frontier had closed with his famous thesis, arguing that the American exceptionalism James Earl Fraser framed sculpture end of the trail, it say, which debuted in 1915 at the Panama Pacific International Exposition in San Francisco. It say whatever, man. I don't feel like, man. Y'all already know. Y'all already know how this shit is with me. It say the idea of a broken, vanished race. Ironically, just over 100 years later, the resilient American Indian population have survived into the 21st century and swelled to more than 5 million people. Now, check this out. Now, they didn't kill us. Here we go. Here we go right here. Right here that they classified as. What is he classified as? Oh, they killed all of them off. Ain't no more of them. But on the census, we clearly see as they come west, we see more people on the census being conquered. We see more black people being conquered. As they come west, we see more census popping up. 380,000 Africans made almost 10 million people 100 some odd years later. Really? Really? Even though when you read that they was killing them, that the women was killing their own children, so they wouldn't be fucking they wouldn't be a fucking they wouldn't be captured by these devils. Really? And you think that these women was having children? You think they was allowing them to breed? Come on, man. Let's stop it, man. Stop the foolishness, man. Let's move on to the next article, man. All right. So let me see something. All right. This right here. Let me see. Let me read a little bit of this. Yo, man, I hope y'all enjoyed it, man. You know what I'm saying? In fact, you know what? Let me see something. Because this is kind of going to touch. So I don't want to keep reading the same stories over and over again. All right. It say the shocking of America's the shocking savagery of the United States early history. Because remember, this is the American, okay? This is the American. I don't believe that. Oh, we're not Americans. Hold up. Let's go to the dictionary. Let's go to the Webster's dictionary. Go ahead. Let's see who the Americans are. Who the Americans are. 1828, before the Trail of Tears. It says Native America originally applied to the Aboriginals. So to be an Aboriginal, because this is how I was taught. This is how I was taught, y'all. Aboriginal, 1866, all right? No, 1660s. It say from earliest, existing from the beginning, especially in reference to the inhabitants of the land colonized by Europeans from Aborigines. Now I say the specific Australian sense attest from 1820. So lose me with the Australians wasn't the Aborigines. The Aborigines are from earliest, existing from the beginning, especially in reference to the inhabitants of lands colonized by Europeans. Okay, let's go to something else real quick. Let me see something. Hold up. Give me 1 second, people. Let me get. All right, y'all. My bad, y'all. I had to answer my phone. Let me see. Mic check, mic check, mic check. All right, we back in this motherfucker. All right. All right. So let me see something. I know I'm jumping all over the place, but you already know how this shit go down, man. Let me see something. Hold up. Trying to find my exact article, the one I always use. Here you go, right here. Oh yeah, and the name of this video is Colonization, the truth about colonization in the Americas. All right, and like I said, I have to tie together who the people who were colonized, because they're gonna keep on telling you and giving you these fake ass images of what the people, according to them, look like, when we know that them people are. Now I just gave a couple of different references. They told you that they was hanging the people and they was having picnics over them and all this other shit, man. You know, read this history, man. It's sad, man. Let me see. Hold up. This ain't it right here. Hold up, man. Hold up, let me see something. I don't know why I can't find it. They say Negro skulls. This ain't the exact article I'm looking for. Let me see something. That's interesting. I can't even find it. Hold up, let me see something. Here we go. This is it right here. All right, this is it right here. Shout out to my brother NY Supreme, man. Like I said, I don't just find a lot of this information. I got brothers and sisters who send me links for stuff, man. I ain't never gonna sit up here and act like I'm holier than down. I'm always gonna give reference to the people who helped me out. Cause like this is not about no props or no fame. This is about your history and your ancestry. So this is not about no fucking. I don't need to put this on. I don't need to, I don't need to monitor this or nothing, man. Like I said, man, support your boy, man. Your boy Fubu, forged by us. Not Fubu the brand, but Fubu the Aboriginal, in which I got the link is in the description. Also, Culture Freedom. Damn, my bad. Support Culture Freedom, man. The donation link is in the description, man. Help your brother out so I can get shit out, man. Okay, I need help to get it. I cannot afford to finance this on my own. So far, I got almost $400 donations, in which I did get a GoPro. Support your boy, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, if you enjoy this information, I'm not up here. I'm putting up here real credible information so you connect yourself back to this land. Okay, and that's all I've been doing. Yeah, I have some foolish videos about hip hop and some other things on my channel, but 90% of the information that I put up there is about the Aborigine and about the images and about the literature and everything else. So support your boy, please. All right. So now check this out. We was here first. Started in America, right? Well, actually, hold up. Let me see something. I was in this article right here. So we went here, 1828 dictionary, which we got we read this plenty of times, but it says the Native American originally applied to the Aboriginals. I stopped at the Aboriginals, right? So I went here. I went Aboriginal. It says 1660, from earliest existence, from the beginning, especially in reference to the inhabitants of the land colonized by Europeans. Most people see the word Aboriginal, they believe that it has something to do with the Australian, but it was the Australian wasn't attempt to Aboriginal to 1820. Okay, so it says from earliest existence, from the beginning. Who was the first people that they found that was so-called the first American? This article tells you, but there lies a puzzle. Modern Native Americans closely resemble the people of China. Modern Native Americans. We need to look the word modern up for you people who don't understand. Okay, Native Americans closely resemble Korea and Japan, but the oldest skeletons do not. Say archaeologist James Chatter. Now do some research on him. Stupid nigga Garfield, you gotta keep on explaining. That's why I'm done. I'm done now. I'm not. I don't want to be in none of them talking about them people. I'm moving forward with information, man. I don't validate me. I don't need them niggas to validate me for me to know who the fuck I am or for me to know. Because all they do is just dumb us down more. All right. So all numbers of Americans who have been discovered so far have shorter, smaller, and shorter faces, long walls than later Native American, more clothing, modern people, Australian and South Pacific Islanders. And Pacific Islanders. This is going to take me into the next sequence of this document or this live stream. All right, hold up. And y'all want to check a brother out who do some good research on this? Please subscribe to the brother Eileen Bay video, man. Unsubscribe from some fucking clown that show you superhero reviews and shit. And please subscribe to this man's channel because this man put quality research up there about us being here already. Okay, please subscribe to his channel, watch his videos, use some of the sources. The brother put it out there. Use some of the sources. You think this work that I'm putting up here is something, you got to go check out some of his lectures and him putting up the information about this shit, because he's bringing new information every time that he come up there. Okay, so let me go again. Small and a small number of early American specimens so far have shorter and smaller faces and longer and narrower skulls than Native American, more closely resemble modern people of Africa, Australia, and South Pacific Islander. This has led speculations that perhaps the Native American. Now, he's saying the first American. I thought Native Americans was the first American. Why are they saying first Americans and Native Americans came from different homelands? Huh? What do you mean came from different homelands? What do you mean? These are experts saying this shit. Not some idiot on YouTube named Garfield and the Dagger Squad they want to use their opinion and try to push it on to you when you got experts telling you this. Came from different homelands, not dark fucking Asian looking people, but came from different homeland, which myself, I know the Americas is the oldest. And I believe that all life started in the Americas and they branched out. So when they tell you the Bering Strait, story, I believe that the people that crossed the Bering Strait was Negroes from this country that went over to Russia, went over to China, Asia, and populated that whole region over there. That's what I believe. Okay, now I'm not able to substantiate that 100%. But like I said, when you got books like Forbidden Archaeology, Creedmoor, you gotta start using. I said, are you an anthropologist? No, not right. So why would I take your word on anything? What makes you more smart than the experts? Because you want to believe that you are African because you took 5 DNA tests? I'm done with these clowns, man. I'm done with them. I made enough videos to where they should want to come see me, but they not gonna come see me. They not. They're gonna fuck with other people. They're not gonna come see the Thompsonist one. One more time. Sort of a small number discovered so far have shorter and smaller faces and long and narrower skulls than later Native American, Native American. Modern Native Americans resemble Chinese, narrow and skull Native Americans. Then later, why are they using the word later if they were the first ones here? More closely resemble modern people of Africa, Australia. So that means that the Aborigines, which is first existing, earliest from the beginning, especially in reference to the inhabitants of the land colonized by the European. What is this live stream called? The Truth About Colonization of the Americas, all right? And we saying colonization of the Europeans. So the Aborigines will be the indigenous people here who now classify as African. Now look, check it out. We're going to go back. So it says, we know who the Aborigines are. We already know. They said that the first or existence from the beginning. The Smithsonian Institute told you that the first Americans resemble Africans, Australians, South Pacific. It's just so happened that we have people here on this landmass who've been told that they are from Africa because they resemble the people of Africa. Yeah, yeah, I know. I'm a motherfucker. It say the old copper-colored races found here by Europeans, but because they took their land now they white, but now applied to the descendants of Europeans born in America. Okay, I'm done. Let's go back to here. All right, the shocking savagery of the American early history. All right, let me see something. Yeah. All right. It says all a bit of a blur, a little remembered century, 1600s, 1700s, that begin with the founding. It say, or the first permanent English settlement in the Americas, in Jamestown. All right, we went through that. It say, the century that saw all disease written, barely civilized, successors of Jamestown, slaughtering and getting slaughtered by the original inhabitants, hanging on by their fingernails to some fetal coastal swamplands until Pocahontas saved it. And they say no, no, that's not right. Is it? I said it was blurred. All right, say entering Bernard Bellin is say the greatest historian of the of the earliest American alive today. It say not over 90. It say at Harvard for more than 6 decades. It say Bellin. It say has recently published another one of his epoch making grand narrative senses of the barbarous years, casting a light on the darkness, filling in the blank canvas with what he's gleaned from what he's seen, like every last scrap of crumbling diary page. They say every surviving chattel slave receipt and ship's passenger manifest of the living and dead. It say every fearful about the Antichrist that survived in the blackened ember of the burnt out churches. Let me read this. This going to sound interesting. All right. It say belly. It say has not painted a pretty picture. Little wonder he called it the barbarous years. It say and shared us no details of terror, desperation, degradation, and widespread torture. Do you really know what's being flawed alive? What being flawed alive means? It say the skin torn from the face of the head and the prisoners in disemboweled while still alive. Man, what the fuck, yo? It say, and yet somehow the merciless massacres was elements that gave birth to the civilization or its billion. It say in evoke whatever phrase the fragile it say that would evolve 100 years later into the virtual renaissance culture of bursting strings of self-governing and self-sufficient, defiant and expansionist colonies alive with the increasing sophistication and liberate politics and intellectual culture that would coalescence into the rationales for the birth of America independence, all while shaping the sometimes misshaping American character. It's a grand drama. It's a grand drama. It's in which the glimmer of the Enlightenment barely survived the savagery, what yeast call the blood-deemed tides. Now remember, the crimson tides, like the brother went on the other day, the crimson tides, okay? They say the blood-deemed tides, the crimson tides of Alabama, okay? They say the brutal establishments of slavery, the race wars with the original inhabitants. Now, who did we just say the original inhabitants was? They say that barely is not afraid to call genocidal, the full horror details of which has virtually been erased. We going in on this shit right here. All right. It say, in truth, I didn't think anyone sat around erasing it. Belly tells me when I visit him in a spacious document studies in Harvard Whiting Library. He say he's a very remarkable, fit-looking fella, in genetically jumping out of his chair to open up a file drawer and show me copies of one of the most prized documents, finds the hidden written British government survey records of the American bound colonists made in the 1700s, which lists the names of origins, occupations, age, and disparting one of the few islands of the hard data about who the early Americans were. I just showed you who the early Americans were. They classified as fucking Africans, all right? And say not sitting, it say nobody sitting around erasing this history. He says in an even tone, but it's forgotten conventionally. I ask, yes, he agrees. Look at the peaceful pilgrims. R. William Bedford say he goes to see the Pequot War battlefield. It say, and he applaud. It say he said the sink of heap of dead bodies was too much. Barely is speaking of one of the earliest, bloodiest encounters between the peaceful pumpkin pie eating pilgrims and original inhabitants of the land. Who was the original inhabitant of the land? Be the Aboriginals. It say they wanted to seize the Pequots, but barely the mercenaries' motive is less salient. It say then the theology. It say the ferocious, the ferocity of that little war is just barely unbelievable. Barely says the butchering that went on cannot be explained, but trying to get hold of a piece of land, they was really struggling with the central issue for them, the advert of the Antichrist. Suddenly, I felt a chill of wintry New England air outside, even into a warmth of his study. Okay, now let's keep it moving. Let me see something. All right, hold up. We're gonna read this shit right here, because this gonna tell you what the real colonization was. Here we go. Let's go further into this shit. All right. It's the Antichrist and the haunting figure passage in the my bad, y'all. It say from the book of Revelations played an important part of Bailey's explanation in the European settlers destined into the unrestrained savagery. The key passage on this question comes late in the book when Bailey makes explicit a connection have not seen before between the physical savagery and the radical dissenting Protestant settlers of America, wrecked and original inhabitants, and the intellectual savagery of the polemical attacks on the church and the states of these they led from in Europe, and the savagery of the vicious insult of vile It say they wreak upon each other as well. All right, so the savagery of the theological struggles, the bitterness of the main contenders, and the deep strain in its led the region collective memory. Say was driven elements fear peculiar to what was experienced as a barbary environment, fears of what could happen to civilization, to civilized people when the unimaginable wilderness in which God's children, it's a struggled with a pitiless agents of Satan. All right, so they talk. Oh, I'm gonna get into the real shit, man. Hold on, let me close this out. I want to get into the real shit. I don't want all that. All right, hold up. Just give me a second, y'all. All right. I'm gonna read right here. I'm gonna start with this part right here. Matter of fact, I'm gonna read right here. All right. So it say Bailey, it say could have coasted on that success, researching and publishing on the magnitude of controversy. It's a still raging over the meaning of the revolutions and the declaration of the going forward the way most historians have done. But instead, he did something unusual. He stepped back, not just in time, but in a spatial perspective. He had what he called his cosmic and massive westward movement from Europe and Africa and North and South America that began before 1492. He no, and he chronicled it in a subsequently book, Voyagers to the West, and examining the interaction of four continents bordering the Atlantic, say, and seeing them in a single mutual interacting whole, and reshaped the modern history profession and helped create what is now known as the Atlantic history. All right. Now hold up. Hold up. Let me see something. I want to get into the real shit. And shout out to the Europeans, man, that wrote some of these articles, man, that basically put that basically helped out, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? A lot of these researches was done by a lot of the Europeans, man. And a lot of people, they came through, man, and put together and told the truth, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get through all the semantics of this article, man, because there is a lot of fucking semantics right here. All right, we can start with this right here. All right. Well, both civilizations have been better off had they not been forced into contact. I ask, or if all the colonies on the verge of falling had, in fact, failed, the two civilizations continue separately, merely the trading partners. They say, well, the Indians was not genocidal on the whole. It's their effort, even the 1622 massacre, which he calls a genocide in his book, was not to wipe out the Europeans off the face of the map. It's the English after the massacre who writes these later saying wipe them off the map. But the Indians had the view they wanted to use them. No, he said they no, no, I'm sorry. It says had the view they wanted to use them. The Europeans, they wanted the English there on the fringe, so they would have their benefit of their treasure, their goods. Even their advanced weapons. They wanted that, but under their control. It didn't exactly work out that way. Bailey, does not let either of the two adversary, culture of off the hook. He recounts little vignettes of the original inhabitant behavior, such as this: following the ambush of 4 Dutch traders, barely quotes a reports one had been eaten after having been well roast. They say the other was burnt. The Indians carry a leg and an arm home and divided amongst their family. Yeah, I mean, like I said, some of the stuff you just gotta really do. I don't believe people were savages like that. They say, and on considering the fixture of the grade school Thanksgiving pageant, it say Miles Standish is an upstanding, godly pilgrim. Swalt, it say, who does not at all seems the sort of who would have cut off the head of the chief and brought it back to the pilgrims in triumph. It say on a blockhouse together with a flag made of cloth soaked in the blood, the victim's blood. It say Happy Thanksgiving. What happened? Belly continue. It a legacy of brutal, brutality, the intercultural relations developed through it say of which, of course, a overwhelming was slavery. It say Belly points out that although there are only a few thousand slaves in the colony, it say towards the war in the 16 include the barbarous years, rules of chattel slavery was set. Now remember, we already know that the Pequots they wasn't slaves, they was POWs that was sent to Bermuda and Barbados and brought back as Negroes. And these people never came back to Massachusetts once they sent them out to Barbados and Bermuda. Came back through the numerous ports, through Charleston, through New York, through Louisiana. They never came back to Massachusetts. Only the people who was allowed to stay. Remember, you had the Christian Indians stayed allowed, which the regular Indians, which the Aborigine, the regular kept attacking because they was friends with the English. So let me see something. Let me go on a little further. We're gonna go into this, man. All right, I'm gonna read some more of this, man. Like I said, I'm not Dr. Seuss. If you think I ain't gonna make mistakes on here, none of this shit be heard. None of this shit is you know what I'm saying? I'm a product of my environment. You know what I'm saying? And as far as this literature concerned, I'm gonna get through it best as possible. So let's keep it moving. All right. Let me see something. All right, boom. All right. It's a so the legacy of the barbarous years continue beyond the white man's liberation of revolution. Bailey is fascinating when he speaks of the question of values. The day talked was the peak of the fevered notion that American government should settle the nation's debt by minting a platinum coin, arbitrarily giving $1 trillion of valuation, and it's made me think of the wampum, the original inhabitant currency. It say, I always wonder how you could find the entire century long on the beads of the shells as Americans did. As yet, isn't that what we've done since? They say brazing our economics on shiny metal objects that has declared a consensus value unrelated to their worth as a metal. It say, so I asked barely. It say with the wampum, it was accepted in exchange for the obvious most highly valued commodity such as furs. So if let's think of it like this, right? Which most people kind of touch on this, right? me see. It say, but why should people massacre each other over these little shells? It's because they had great value, because of their beauty. No, because they because they're hard to make. Excuse me, y'all. Because they're hard to make and they don't exist anywhere else. It say, you ever seen how this was done? No. It say he picks up his imaginary shell from his desk and says, still with y'all, hold up. It says, all right, it say they have a shell like, it say this is, no, this, and then they have to bore a hole all the way down through the middle of the thing in order to hinge it. And say the next one, we talking about the shells, y'all. It say, and do it with certain color regular regular rarities. It say it's hard to do. It say, and it become a value. It say thinking of home beating knits my mother had. It say, doesn't it seem arbitrary? All right, so this is like some fucking bullshit right here. Let me keep it moving. I want to get to the part where he's talking about what they was doing to us over here. All right, because like I said, this is called colonization. So this basically gives you an idea of what was done. Since I think that, you know, all this shit was peaceful. The last article pretty much sums it up what was really going on. And, you know, most of the literature that I touched so far and most of the information that I touched on so far pretty much told you. Let me see something. Just bear with me, y'all. You know what? Because I got another article right here. I'm going to skip that. I'm going to go move over that one. But he pretty much, I mean, you want to see the article? I'm going to put all these, I got a bunch of different articles up here. But I want to touch on something else right here. All right. I'm going to read through a little bit and I'm going to end this, all right? All right. So it say how the European countries and the United States acquired the islands. All right. It says it was not difficult for the Western powers to take over the islands. They say for smaller islands, they simply sailed in with gunboats and claimed them. They say there was little the islanders could do to stop them. They say on the island of Little Tahiti, Samoa, Fiji, and Hawaii, things was more complicated. Port town communities has grown up, consisting mainly of Europeans and American traders, missionaries, and planters. It say on owning much of the land. If there was a political instability, it say in the local islanders, governments perhaps caused by rivalries between many different chiefs. They say the local white residents would call on their home countries for help. Western powers would then get involved, backing up one of the chiefs, saying even and eventually obtaining control of the island from that chief. It say the first step was usually to declare a protective um protector rate. It say this means that a country was protecting the island groups from all of the other countries, but not actually ruling the island directly. Now you heard that. Now they're saying that they will come in and they will be warned with other countries and they will come in and act like they protecting it. It's however the protector rate. It says except one Tonga. It said eventually became full colonies, colony status meant that another country actually administered the island group, passing laws, enforcing them, and collecting in taxes. Britain, France, and Germany were the main powers involved. The United States also became involved in the Pacific. The United States went too far with Spain in 1898. Spain didn't want the war, and the United States won easily. It say from this, the United States got possession of the Philippines and Guam. It say Spain quickly sold the North Marianas. It say and the Caroline, and the Marshalls to Germany. Samoa is a good example of the way the Western power competed for control of the land. Germany, Britain, and the United States all wanted Samoa. It has one of the best harbors, and they say they wanted the fucking ports. It say in the Pacific and the Pago. It say the harbors would make a great coaling station for steamships. All three countries sent warships to claim the islands. Say each was backing a different chief for the title. It say the high chief of all Samoa, the Samoans themselves were fighting with each other on shore. See, they was warming like it always happened. They say, and there was too much confusion and uncertainty. The different ships were close to firing on each other and starting a bigger war. Then in 1889, the typhoon came. The United States and Germany ships were sinking, and only the British ships escaped. They say, but Britain decided to give up its claim to Samoa in exchange for some German claims. It say in Melanesia, it say then the United States and Germany sat down and divided up Samoa. It say in 1890, the United States took the eastern portion with a good harbor. Germany received the much later western portion, then lost it to New Zealand in 1914 during the World War. See, they was fighting over all this shit. That's what your World War I and your World War II was about. Them taking different lands, man. That's what all that shit was fighting. The European nations are fighting over who was going to have this shit. Okay? They say today the part of the islands are still separated as American Samoa and the independent Western Samoa. The United States also ended up with Hawaii. It's a Hawaiian chief and a great convention, I can't pronounce that, say has built an army and conquered the Hawaiian island by 1795. He made Hawaii an independent kingdom with his family on the throne. Over the years, the United States sugar planter built up a successful business in Hawaii, selling sugar to the U.S. mainlands. Then to protect Louisiana sugar grower, it said the United States Congress passed a tariff on the foreign sugar. Hawaii being a foreign country would have to pay the tariff, and Hawaiian sugar would be more expensive than Louisiana sugar unless the Hawaiian could become part of the United States. They say the sugar planters and the sugar industry in Hawaii would be ruined. As a result of the planter formed a small army and took over the government, arresting the queen. After a few years, the United States annexed the island at the request of the new government. The island became the U.S. territory, then later a state. I say Britain and France took most of the Pacific. They say Britain was reluctant to take too many islands. Fiji asked several times before Britain agreed to take and protectorate because the Britain's hesitation. France was able to acquire the new Saladonian, Wallace, and Futuna. The French Polynesian, Britain took the Cooks and and Gilberts, and Elise Island took Kola, I say, and the Nile of Polynesia, and the Micronesia and the Melanesia. Say Britain had New Guinea and the Solomons. It say in a unique arrangement, Britain and France agreed to share the new Hebrides. It say Tonga was only a group, never to become a colony, although Britain established the protectorate over it to keep another country from forcibly and annexation. All right. So here we go. This is interesting. I'm gonna go through this. All right. So just bear with me. We're gonna get through this, and this shit gonna be over with. All right. So World War One. It say in the Pacific, the situation remained until World War One in 1914. The First World War came about because the balance between the European power finally broke down. On one side, Germany, Austria, and Bulgaria, Turkey, and other small countries on the other side. Say when the war started, were Britain, France, and Belgium, Russia, Italy, and some smaller countries in the Pacific. Germany was no match for Britain and France. Say Germany knew it could not protect its Pacific colonies. New Zealand fighting Britain's side and occupied Western Samoa. Australia took over the German and controlled areas of Nauru and German. It's a new before anything else could happen. Japan declared war on Germany. The Japanese moved in and took over the German island of Micronesia. The two never really fought each other. Germany was actually happy to have Japan acquired the island instead of Britain or France. It's after World War One, Germany was out of the Pacific. Japan was in. Britain became many islands in New Zealand and Austria. This remained the whole situation to World War II. So now you got to understand what the fuck they were fighting for. They were fighting for land. They were fighting who was going to take over this shit. All right, so colonial accustomation of the Pacific. All right, so these are some dates right here. They telling you pretty much Britain, the United States, all right, Germany, Britain. You guys go back and look at the dates: France, New Zealand, Austria, Britain and France, Germany, Chile, New Zealand. All right, it's in 1920. It's in Japan. All right, so going over right here. All right, so you got World War II from 1941 to 1945. And these are pretty much how they took over. Now, the funny thing is, the only thing you see is all Europeans taking over, all right? So it's a World War II. Oh, let me see something. I didn't want to read that part right there. Let me see. You know what? I'm gonna make part two of this, man. I gotta actually run and do some stuff, man. But I'm gonna end it on that part, and I'm gonna go back over that the other article, the Smithsonian Institute article. I'm gonna make a part two to this. Yeah, man. Pretty much that's what it is, man. And if you ever want to know what the people look like, that's in the Pacific. Well, this is one of the kings, Polynesia. This brother right here. See what he look like. It's another Polynesian. So now look, you wonder why they start looking like this, because the Asians came in. It's told you Japan came in, took over certain parts. That's why you see some of these motherfuckers looking like they Asian, because of the Japan. Now these ain't no indigenous people. The indigenous people are the people who look like this. The reason you start seeing them look more Asian because of Japan and these other countries that came in there, man. So I mean, like I said, man. So when you really do the research on it, man, you really understand, man, that like you see that you look the devil in his face every fucking day, but you don't know it. You don't know it. You have no clue. This is actually one of the queens of Hawaii. See that the last queen. I'm quite sure she was the one that got captured. Like I said, that's the reason why you see all of these paradises, why you always see these Europeans over there. That's why you always see them over there. But yeah, man, I mean, like I said, man, you know, being as though Hawaii is part of the United States or whatever, we already know what was done. Pacific Islanders. All right, so this Pacific Island, like we already know that fucking the what's the name came there, the Asians came there, right? Now look, this is in Fiji. These are all Negroes, man. Look at these people right here, bro. Take a look at these people. This is the Pacific Island. What did they tell you we looked at like? Look, they got afros just like we got. Boy, they look more washed down and shit. Like we don't need to go there. But you guys pretty much get the picture. When you start seeing people who got the more Asian features, that's because the Asians came in. Like you look at this image right here, right? Now look, black indigenous Hawaiians. See these brothers right here on the corner, right? These are Negroes, man. You understand what I'm saying? But they would sit here and tell you, like, that's the reason why you see these people looking Asian, because of the Japanese influence of them islands, man. So it's a lot, man, when you're dealing with this history, man. It's definitely a lot, man. Let me go back to the chat before I get out of here. It's definitely a lot, man. Let me go. I hope you guys enjoy this video, man. I know I made hella grammatical mistakes like always, but you already know I'm not rehearsing none of this shit. I'm not going to rehearse a bunch of articles then read back to them. I'm not doing all that. If I can't make the mistakes on air, then I can't show my flaw as a human being. I'm just one person, man, trying to do this, man. I know you got other brothers doing it, but I don't think they're doing it to this point right here where they're going to break down different articles. You know what I'm saying? So like I said, man, I hope you guys appreciate the work. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, man, for those who can't afford to help the brother out, the description, man, and send your donations, man, so I can get this fucking documentary out, man. Because I'm gonna have to meet with some of these people, and like I said, I might have to pass some resources out. You know what I'm saying? In order to get this, because people not gonna want to have their face on a documentary. You know what I'm saying? Especially if the documentary getting money or whatever, you know what I'm saying, if they not being compensated properly. So if I want to definitely be able to compensate these people and do the documentary as well as possible, man. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate everybody in the chat room that come through on a daily basis, man, and support the boy, you know, support the channel, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, man, I mean, it's a lot, man, you know what I'm saying? going through some of the stuff, man, it definitely make me feel some type of way, man. And even when you reading some of the stuff, man, you know what I'm saying, every now and then, man, it will make you tear up, man, because this is your ancestors. This is not a novel or some. This is real life. This is the history that was done over here. So you have to have some type of compassion, man, for the people who lost their lives, man, so these people can have the land, and they still doing what they doing now. And that's the sad part. The sad part is they disguise it. They disguise it by acting like they came here, and this story that happened here was just a story of some friendly. Oh yeah, we did no. You heard what the hell I said. You heard with the different articles, the reason they came here. They came to take the land. They came here to take the land. So if you wasn't agreeing to them taking the land, then guess what? You was on the losing side of the General Custers and all these different numerous military, Andrew Jackson, and all these militias and all the shit that was formed. You was on the losing end of that. And you heard what they said. Let's pick a nigga. Let's pick a nigga to hang. And they still picking niggas to this day. So like I said, man, I don't know if these motherfuckers ever gonna learn. They ain't never gonna, because you ain't sitting on stolen land. All the blood that was shed on this land, you know, these people is not giving back no land. And ain't no paperwork really going to change that. No matter what you say, the only thing you can do is get notoriety of what was taken. You know what I mean? People I know got had land given back to them, and motherfuckers like Andrew Jackson went back and took the land from them. Like how? What kind of savage? Like, I mean, but you know what kind of savage motherfuckers is, because where they coming from, they wasn't gonna be able to survive there. So of course, if you can come here and you can take over people who you deem to be weaker than who you are, then that's what's gonna be done. So with that being said, man, yo, man, like I said, man, definitely, man, support the donations, man. Go to the Aboriginal gig, cop a t-shirt, man. You know what I'm saying? Support your boy, man, because you know what? You running around here with Polo, Nike, or whatever the hell you wear. It ain't nothing. And I ain't make the t-shirts is still made by some European or whatever, but at least it's gonna at least express who you are, or express your views or whatever, man. I got over 50 different t-shirts, man. You know, like I said, documentary. I'm trying to get this documentary out in the 8-month time span. So please, man, help me support this. I already got a couple people on camera. I actually got like 3 chiefs that I met through word of mouth or whatever. And I had an interview with one of the brothers last night, and this was a spectacular interview, man. Like I gotta edit some of it or whatever, but this is gonna be one of the parts that's gonna be definitely in Culture Freedom. But yeah, man, please support the boy. Go to the link. You know what I'm saying? Send the donations so we can get this documentary out, man. Like I said, Tariq Nasheed, he did his documentary on Hitting Colors or whatever. He raised almost $100,000, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm only trying to raise like $7,000-8,000, and I'll put my rest of my money to it or whatever though. But yeah, I definitely need to get around to fly to some of these places and meet up with some of these brothers, because it'd be better. It wouldn't be better through a Skype, because that'll be just like I could do that shit. I could do a live stream and Skype with these different people. No, it's something that's going to be that we can put in time. You know what I'm saying? Where we always go back, cop this. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to be cursing. I'm not going to be, talking like, talking my usual shit or whatever. I am going to definitely mash my, you know what I'm saying? My content or whatever and everything, man. But definitely, man, like I said, man, support the boy, man. Because I try to support y'all, especially with this information, man. You know what I'm saying? 2 and 3 hours, man, is a lot sometimes. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, man, shout out to all the Aborigines. Shout out to everybody who come through. I appreciate everybody. Hopefully if I get in touch with the brother Jaguar, Omek, and AP later on, we can probably touch on Encyclopedia and go back and look at that Encyclopedia videos, man. Because they telling you was a savage when they got here. How was you a savage when you got all these fucking all the stuff that we made went around the world, and it ain't nothing but more commerce for them. You make it, they put a pattern on it and fucking sell it and benefit, and now their family living in mansions and their family going to these prestigious schools and eating tea sandwiches and shit. While your family going to these, well, you know, I mean, education, but you want the best want the best quality of education, so you know at least how to deal with some of these people or whatever though. But kid, your family made a lot of these inventions, but yet your kids still going to schools wherever where you barely can get books at. Well, it might not be like that now, but the books that's written is written by the Rockefellers and written by these other secret societies. So you won't know that you are already. Or you won't know that this history when they tell you was done to you. So with that being said, man, you already know, man, I'm the taunt in this one, man. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna tell you comment, like, subscribe. You know what I'm saying? Go into the comment or whatever. I mean, go into the content, man. Whatever. If you could donate, donate. If you can cop a t-shirt, cop a t-shirt. If you watch the video, watch the video though. But just know, man, I try to bring this information to you, man. So with that being said, shout out to everybody in the chat room. I'm gonna try to do another video later on. Come back with some other information. And guess what, man? Time to this one. So with that being said, man, shout out, love, and light to everybody out there, man. Learn your culture so they won't keep teaching you your culture, all right? So with that being said, I'm out here, man. Peace.